Welcome, everyone. My name is Karl Rosenberger. I'm with RAVE Computer, and I'm very, very pleased to introduce Urho Konttori. He is Chief Product Officer of Varjo Technologies, and we're here to talk about the new VR-3 and XR-3.
Hey, Karl, thanks for having me. So great to be here and really pleased to introduce you guys to our third generation lineup. I'll share a couple of slides and then we can start having a bit of chat of what this actually means to overall the computers, the simulations business, and to you guys, the customers of both RAVE and Barrio.
Thank you, Urho.
Would you guys be able to let me share the screen? So elevate me as a presenter, and then we can get going. And there we go. Perfect, perfect, thank you. All right, so this is the Varjo's third generation lineup. You see the XR-3 there on the left side and the VR-3 on the right side. These are the most advanced mixed reality and virtual reality headsets on the market. And we had basically a battle cry through the making of these products, which was that we want to have double the performance at half the cost. And I do think that we have delivered beautifully with these products. An interesting fact is that we started making this third generation lineup before we had even shipped our first generation headset, before we had even shown it to anybody on the outside, because on the third generation, we have really done so much fundamental work that we wanted to have enough time for the teams to actually pull everything off. So basically for us, the challenge has been that with the first and second generation headsets, we have been establishing the high-end VR and mixed reality markets, building the software ecosystem for them, and preparing so that these become tools and not just technology gimmicks. And that takes some time. Now with the third generation, the market is ready, which is why we are now also offering these high performance devices for mainstream users, not only for the largest of enterprises, for their most demanding use cases like Boeing using these for astronaut training, or Lockheed Martin, US Air Force using these for pilot training, or automotive companies doing car designs with these products, but also for the small and medium-sized businesses. And that's, of course, a huge endeavor to make, and does not only mean that you make cheaper products. It means that the usability, the ease of use, the PC compatibility, everything needs to be on a whole new level. And we have been addressing those things a lot. In addition to that one of the questions from very commonly asked of our headset was that you have that human eye resolution. It's fantastic, but it's a bit small. Could you make it bigger? And then somebody asking, could you just make the whole field of view that? So with the third generation, we have been answering this one. Then secondly, the mixed reality was more of an add-on in the first and second generation headsets. Now that's not the case with the third generation. Mixed reality is the first and foremost technology for us. And we built first the mixed reality XR-3 and then made a strip down of the VR-3 out of that one. And then great advances on the ergonomics. Very quickly on one more thing, which is the field of view. In the first generation headsets, we had 80 degrees horizontal field of view. And this is interesting to reflect, for example, for HP Reverb G2, which has 88 degrees horizontal field of view. Our first generation headsets had 87 degrees horizontal field of view. Now, with the third generation, we have 40% wider field of view. As it happens, it's the widest field of view of any mainstream headset, including Valve's Index headset. The focus area, this human eye resolution area that is just the perfection of the image, is now twice the size of the previous generations. And we have optimized its location so that it really fits into the training and simulations business, where all of the really important actions, the avionics, the computer screens, they're always below the horizon line. And that's where the human eye resolution insert is now as well. The same applies also to design space, where everything that we actually look at in a car, what we operate with our hands ever, they're always below the horizon line. So this is just the perfect placement for everybody. Now, if we had done just this, you guys would be asking that, hey, you have this medium-sized human eye resolution insert. Can you just make it bigger? And for that one, we made and commissioned a completely custom and Varjo exclusive display, which is a couple of generations ahead of any consumer grade VR headset, which provides high resolution everywhere and everything runs at 90 Hertz. How that resolution actually shows is that you have that human eye resolution area at 71 pixels per degree, where the human acuity is typically referred as 60 pixels per degree. This is really like pilot level acuity levels. Then outside of that one, you have roughly 35 pixels per degree, which is gradually decreasing towards the edges of the screen, so that at 60 degrees, you have 33 pixels per degree, and at 80 degrees, you have 27 pixels per degree. Again, these are values when you contrast it to devices like Valve Index, which is running at roughly 14 pixels per degree, maybe even a bit less. So significant advancement, which means that you can comfortably read text wherever you're looking at. You just move your eyes and everything looks to be just perfection of VR or mixed reality. And as said, 115 degrees horizontal field of view, widest on the market. Then very importantly, the colors, especially in design space. So 99% of sRGB, every single device is calibrated at the factory. The colors are just perfect. There is a slight inability for us to reach the deepest of blue, both in sRGB and the DC-IP color space, which is an extended gamut, typically not used anywhere else except in design applications, but some of those do, and we run at 93% DCI-P3. Then if you have not seen our headsets before, this should allow you to understand the qualitative difference between our headset and the ordinary consumer grade headsets. So on the left side, you see Valve Index, which is the leading consumer grade VR headset on the market. You see the pixelated structure. These are photos, by the way, taken from theirs and our headset. You cannot quite see any of the details on the dashboard. You cannot appreciate the materials on the steering wheel. And of course, on our headsets, the VR-3 and the XR-3, you see every detail perfectly, just as if you were sitting on this car that probably doesn't exist for many years to come for a designer's point of view. Allows you to do the design decisions purely in virtual fashion, which is a game changer. Then when we look at the training and simulation business, which is what iTech is all about. On the left side, Valve Index, the image again does not let you read any of the instrumentations on the beautiful screens of F-35. By the way, Lockheed Martin has had access for our headsets now for a month, and they have ported the prepared software, optimized it for the third generation users, and that has allowed us to take these beautiful shots of the F-35 cockpit. On the right-hand side, you see the VR-3 and the XR-3 image quality, pixel perfect, readable at the pilot's ordinary pose, and very importantly, there is no form of negative training when you utilize our headsets. If you would be using ordinary VR headsets, you would be leaning very easily forward to be able to read the instrumentation. The last thing any pilot should ever do, obviously. And whereas with our headset, you fly like you train and you train like you fly. A quote from Lockheed Martin from their evaluation of our headset. So a game changer for sure. Again, the wide field of view being a very important factor in here. Ultra high resolution everywhere. The mixed reality, very difficult to convey the message when you cannot see it live. The image quality is phenomenal, obviously, and objects appear true to life with the Varjo headsets, even reflecting the world around you naturally and correctly. On the mixed reality side, we made the custom lenses for the mixed reality cameras running at same field of view as the rest of the system, at the same 35 pixels per degree as our peripheral screen is running at. Great low light performance as well. again, fully custom and exclusive to us for the lens stacks. Inside-out tracking was added also for the XR-3 for the perfect super gluing of the mixed reality, so that the virtual objects really seem to be belonging to the real world. But in addition to that one, we also support the Steam VR Generation 1 and Generation 2, so that you can use this with any existing equipment you might have, controllers, pucks, and anything else you have built. So very much solidly built, not only for the future, but also for today. Hand tracking is included on both of the headsets, and it's using Ultraleap's latest Generation 5 algorithms. And licenses included for commercial, industrial, military, and medical use cases. By default, you don't need to worry about that one. We have done it for you. Then lastly, about the mixed reality, which is the LiDAR. It's very important to understand the world around the headset and make it so that the objects don't only appear to belong to the real world, but they can actually interact with it, creating perfect occlusions and creating the shadows on the floors and the walls, and really, again, interacting and belonging to the world around you. LiDAR image, it's great, it's robust, functions up to 5 meters. I think we'll leave it at that. We have complemented it with our own technology that elevates the quality of the LiDAR to every pixel in the video see-through feed. That allows us to have fundamental new advances for the use cases of depth instrumentation, all the way to holoportation of video signal from one place to another in the world. But of course, also allowing you to do 3D world reconstruction, 3D scanning of objects and places. This is really fantastic. It's one of the things that we'll talk more in the Q1 next year. Ergonomics, cabling, both super important. Headset is balanced. We have a counterweight on the back. The headset is built so that the top ratchet allows you to lift the weight of the headset to be on top of your head instead of you needing to press the headset on your face. And we really make it so that it's super comfortable for hours of use at a time. Audio jack is on the side, so you can use your own headphones, whether they're cup headphones or anything like that. Everything works beautifully. The head strap is also super slim, so that also the cup headphones work with the headset. Headset cables, interchangeable, standard USB-C, use your own, use ours. Whether you use like 1 meter cable or the default 5 meter cables or even longer optical fiber cables. This is a really nice, easy to interchange system. On the PC side, compatibility is super important on the cabling. So unlike our previous generations, we do not need any more Thunderbolt connection. You just need a PC that has 2 USB-A 3.0 connections and 2 DisplayPort connections, which is of course something that all RAVE machines made for the virtual reality do provide. Super important. And now this means that the compatibility is much, much better than what it used to be. And also from RAVE lineup, there are much more computers now also compatible with Varjo's 3rd generation. All of the materials are hygienic, breathing, easy to clean. We changed everything that touches your face in March when the pandemic hit. We realized that we really need to be diligent about this one. So you can use alcohol wipes to clean all of the surfaces that touch the user. So additionally, we also support UV cleanup of the headset, so you can put it to a UV cabinet. The materials have been checked to last UV light for sanitization. All of the optics are made so that they don't have any Fresnel grooves, which means that even in darkest of conditions with the highest of contrast, like for example, F-35 flying in a nighttime, you have that very strong light from the instrumentation. And when you look into the horizon, you don't get any glare from that instrumentation because there are no Fresnel grooves in these. No God rays, no glare, just picture perfect image. Headset adapts to you. So we have fully automatic IPD. When you put it on, you hear a very minute sound. The lenses, the optics, the eye tracking cameras, the displays all move to be in the perfect spot for your eyes, which again makes it so that you have much less optical nausea from these headsets than from anything else out there. And you don't need to care what is the user's IPD. The headset does it for you. And finally, the eye tracking is running at 200 Hertz on the headsets, industry leading, and the quality is phenomenal. And very importantly, we now also support the single dot eye tracking calibration. So when you put it on, at the same time as you hear the zzz, it asks you to look at the dot, and then you're able to do foveated rendering. You can run analytics on users' behavior. You can do reinforced learning. Of course, you can even let the user have interactions based on the gaze. Finally, the price is VR-3, $3,200, XR-3, $5,500. And then, of course, we also provide subscription licenses, which are mandatory for the first year, running at $800 for the VR-3 and $1,500 for the XR-3. There are also other options available for the subscriptions for longer periods of time as well, but you can check those out from our website, of course. So I'm incredibly proud to say that we over-delivered on the quality. This is more than twice the performance, and the cost, it's just shy of half the price of the previous generations. So very happy with how we were able to execute, and super proud about the products.
That's wonderful, Urho. I'm extremely impressed. One of the people in the audience just asked, what is the IPD range?
Oh, very good question. So we are running at the moment at 48 millimeters to 72 millimeters of IPD range. As it happens, our CTO actually has 74 millimeters of IPD. The lenses don't move that far, but he says that he sees everything perfectly. So I suppose even though we say 72, you actually are able to easily use it even at 74.
Interesting. That's incredible. Do you have any plans for wireless connectivity in the future products?
It's one of the things that we are very much looking for at the moment. We don't have anything to announce, but it's one of the things that we are working very actively at the moment.
Interesting. Okay. When are these new headsets going to be available to users?
Yeah, so at the moment, as you can see from our website, we're taking the orders now in, and the deliveries will be made in 8 to 12 weeks. The reality is that because of the Chinese New Year, the builds will be shipped most likely in the beginning of February onwards, because it just creates a chaos in the whole logistic ecosystem of the world.
Yeah, no kidding. What about a demo? What if I wanted a demo? What's the time frame for that?
Really good question. So some of our partners, such as RAVE, might be able to provide you guys with the demo in the January of next year. And we will be distributing devices to partners for exactly that kind of uses. Then we are going to be doing a road trip in end of January or beginning of February in the East Coast and West Coast. And you should contact our sales team if you want the road trip to be near you guys. I'm sure there will be one in New York. There will be availability in Washington, D.C., in the Florida region, Seattle, as well as, of course, the Bay Area. Those will be for sure stops where you will be able to test the headsets. My personal hope is that GTC, which is NVIDIA's annual GPU developers conference, will be held physically. Like, we all desperately want the COVID to be in a stable state at that stage. And if that's the case, then I think that would be a great time also to see the headset. So if they will hold it physically, we will definitely be there.
Excellent. Another audience question was, is there a way to record the video that the user of the HMD is seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
After action.
Yeah, so we have had for over a year the ability to just click record. You can take screenshots with the mixed reality mixing, and you can record videos through the UI directly. It's just a click of a button, and it makes a nice AVI file for you.
Are there other features of this solution that people developing training and simulation solutions should be aware of?
Yeah, so firstly, we have developed a chroma key feature for the simulation space. It basically allows you to have like for example, a partial cockpit, which is fully physical. And then you're interacting with that simulation system by just touching those physical controls. You see your hands, and everything outside of that singular thing that you have defined as physical, everything outside can be fully virtual, which again, makes the system much smaller, much more compact. A very common case to ask is, can you make the whole system to fit in a bag? And certainly in like a big Pelican bag, you can have the seat, you can have an instrumentation panel, you can have the headset, you can have a beautiful RAVE computer there. Everything fits into like a moderately biggish Pelican case, but that does allow you to transport the experiences anywhere in the world with ease and security. So, I do think that the chroma key is one of those things that really brings life to this mixed reality training use case. Interacting with the physical things lets you learn the muscle memory and make everything so much more positive training and remove those last negative aspects away. Again, very small thing on the chroma key is that we're also adding the support that you can define that always everything outside or on my left and right side or top of me will be deemed to be virtual. So you don't need to have like a bubble around that is chroma key, just around the instrumentation panel that the user needs to interact with. So again, one of those things that we are now bringing with the 3rd generation available to all of our customers.
Excellent, thank you. Another audience question, is the frame rate capped at 90? How does that affect performance compared to other headsets with higher refresh rates?
Yeah, we're capping it at 90. Unfortunately, it's not possible to go higher frame rate with these headsets. However, 90 Hertz is on the level that it is comfortable to use them for hours at a time. And certainly you can get like a tiny little bit more comfort with the higher frame rates, such as 140 Hertz, but really it's quite minute from the 90 Hertz onwards. Yeah, so I don't perceive that as a problem. Our 1st and 2nd generation headsets were running at combination of 90 Hertz and 60 Hertz. So the focus area, the human eye resolution was running at 60 Hertz. Even that didn't bother much of the people. So with the 90/90 perfect lock, I do think it's a fantastic comfort option.
That sounds great. Another question from developer community. Are you making progress with Vulkan? What's the status of support for Vulkan right now?
Yeah, we are working on the Vulkan side at the moment, but we are not supporting it fully yet. It's one of the things that I hope that during first half next year we would be able to have a proper support for Vulkan rendering.
Got it. Boy, I've got to say the audience are doing a great job with questions. Here's another one. The halo effect that we can see in the VR-2 Pro, where both lenses join both images, will be the same in the new generation? Do you have a picture showing the distortion between lenses?
Yeah, so I don't have an image of the distortion map. Maybe that's one of the things that we could actually put to Twitter or something like that. The lenses that you used to see in the periphery on the left and right extreme edge were actually the magnification lenses for the focus screen of the 1st and 2nd generation products. And they were there because the micro OLED on that generation was so small. Now, with the 3rd generation, The micro OLED is much bigger. That has led us to be able to remove those lenses completely. They don't exist, so you cannot see them. And that's one of the things that really removes a lot of the reflections from inside the headset. Additionally, we added a completely new polarizer on top of the focus display that removes almost all of the rest of the reflections, and then an anti-reflective coating on the inside surface of the primary lens that remove the last bits of the reflection. So it's so much more pure image than in the first and second generations. It's almost unimaginable.
One of the things that's been asked in the community, how are these new cards coming out from NVIDIA with the new Ampere processors and the different RAM configurations affecting immersion, the use of these virtual headsets?
Yeah, really good question. So we've been testing quite a bit of the RTX 3090 cards at our HQ. So that is definitely the most interesting card from the new lineup. Everything else is more cost and power saving, which is all great. But the 3090 is the one that is pushing the envelope quite a bit. So with that one, we're seeing that you can much easier fit in very complex models, whether they're world models or, for example, automotive design models. So the 24 gigabytes of GDDR RAM is really fantastic for that one. Then the RTX cores are something that we're seeing in the design segment used quite a lot. And we have been running real-time ray tracing in the single application that all automotive designers use in the world. They use Autodesk's VRED, like every single one. And with the 3090 and with the new A6000, you can really be running real-time ray tracing, which is always taking the experience to a whole new level, especially when you're inside the car, how the light behaves there. Like it's not only like a small change, it's a significant change how much better you see and how differently the inside of the car actually looks like once you enable the RTX. So really great. We also have been testing the RTX 3070. So that's qualified. It works beautifully with the headset, and 3080 should be nicely in the middle. Yeah.
Excellent. We've got another audience question here, developer question. What's the compatibility for bringing software design for the XR1 onto the XR3 from packages such as Unity or Unreal Engine? And will there be brand new plugins from Barrio with more advanced features?
Yeah, very good question. So obviously we support all PCVR software through the OpenVR API. So that's there. So anything that you have been using with other headsets works beautifully, just looks so much better with our headset. Then if you use Unity or Unreal, if you import the Varjo's plugin, you get access to foveated rendering that actually reduces the load on the GPU from the previous generation headsets. It's really cool feature. So super easy to take into use. We have updated because of that one. You need to either select our old API that works exactly the same with the new headsets, or you can pick the new API that includes then the foveated rendering. That's of course what we recommend. And there you can toggle in the foveated rendering at any time, on or off. And yeah, perfect. Super easy.
Speaking of APIs, another question, is the Varjo SDK's compositor backend still DirectX, D3D11? We are working on interoperability between Vulkan and Varjo SDK, D3D11, checking to make sure that nothing has changed in that area.
Yes, it is DX11. And yeah, we are working on also the compositor to be running with the Vulkan maybe in the future. So for the added performance boost that we would be able to get from that one. But again, that's maybe one of the things that will happen later than I would hope. So better not promise any dates for that one.
Okay. I've got another question. It's a little bigger question. What do you see as the future of mixed reality? There's a lot of talk about mixed reality here at ITSEC, more than ever any other year where I've attended. What's your take on all that? What's coming?
I think like when you look at how the consumer side of VR is developing, when you look at the Quest, when you look at the Quest 2 and the advances on their like software stacks in there, you start seeing that at least Facebook is moving so that the VR headset become to have a level of mixed reality in, like, I'd say that every headset from now on starts to have a level of mixed reality in them. And what that means is that we will start it starts being a thin line between like a really high quality mixed reality device like the XR-3 and maybe some lower quality mixed reality device that is sold as a VR device, because it's they become part of the same spectrum. They're just on the different extremes of it. So the VR headset's having a little bit of mixed reality, which is going to be growing by the year. And I do believe that when we look at a few years into the future, these become like one. And at least some of the reporters have been saying that their gut feeling is that we will all start calling that VR in the end, because that's going to be more like easily understandable for the like bigger community. So let's see. I do think that they will merge into a singular thing in the future.
That's very interesting. So given that, what kind of applications will become possible with this new technology as it matures? The things that we're not used to being able to do yet.
Yeah, I mean, wow, a big question. That's a big question. So I think one of the biggest areas that I see now fast advancement is on the virtual collaboration side, like everywhere at the moment. That's the thing that everybody's chasing for really rapidly, and I think that's going to be changing quite a lot of our behavior in the future, and moving a lot of the meetings to be done in virtual fashion, as well as of course training. You don't necessarily need to have the trainer and the trainee be in the same site to be able to be productive. And whereas with the virtual things, you can have them wherever it is most comfortable, and that way, of course, you can train much more effectively everybody. So I think the collaboration is going to be the strongest thing. Then, having said, this is the training and simulations domain, and it's very clear that that there is a paradigm shift going from the age-old technologies into fully virtual and mixed reality technologies, because the cost savings are so huge when you move the things into the virtual and mixed reality settings. You get rid of so much large equipment that needs maintenance. You go into small, compact-sized training environments that can be easily shipped to other places in the world, and you can scale the operations. What we're seeing in the simulation space is that a lot of training is moving away from like doing the initial training, learning how pilots should be flying a plane, to be how they should be flying the next mission. So going into operational training rather than like initial training. And I think that's going to be the case in much more areas than just the Air Force side. So that's the other side.
Do we have any more questions from the audience? Been going pretty quick.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the hardware to power the HMDs, and how our RenderBEAST has been tested with the new HMDs and how that performance looks.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Okay. Yeah. So I can tell that we have actually been using RAVE's shoebox-sized computer in our press tour. Yeah, exactly that one, like our version, but yeah, that chassis. So when we did a press tour and did interviews with like 50 magazines in the course of 2 weeks, and we did all the time some live demos, and the RAVE shoebox was our machine that we run our headset. We had the 3090 integrated onto that one, and it was really like fantastic to be able to show that, hey, you actually don't need a supercomputer to run this beast. This shoebox-sized PC is all that you need, and that's also one of the reasons why we are really happy now with this third generation, because you can take it anywhere. Like our salespeople can just take the shoebox-sized PC, the headset, go fly to the other side of the world and show the demos. So I have been lugging so many desktop PCs in my past, in our previous press tours and so forth. And I'm so glad that we have something like the RAVE shoebox now, finally, for us.
Excellent. Well, that's certainly good to hear. RAVE has been working with Varjo since the VR1, and it's been an outstanding collaboration. So just for the audience's understanding, what we do is actually test multiple configurations and optimize the hardware component choices as well as the configuration for this application. And it's really been a good experience. We keep learning new things. Varjo's taught us a lot, and it's been a very successful program. I think we have another audience question. Okay, here we go. How's it going to work with Eagle Dynamics DCS software? When will be possible to see an integration between Varjo and DCS with eye tracking and hand tracking?
Really good question. So DCS runs, of course, through the OpenVR API really greatly. And that's it's one of the software that our internal developers, we have like a dozen of our guys are actually pilots themselves. And they do love to use the DCS because it's like easy accessible software with really great flight model and so forth. So, but they run it over OpenVR because we don't have that full integration yet with the DCS. It's one of the things which is ongoing. I cannot say any dates yet, but it's definitely in high up in our interest list at the moment to get that fully supported there.
Okay. Could you describe authority to operate security constraints for utilizing Barrio at U.S. Department of Defense facilities?
Yeah, so we have the authority to operate done with the US Navy for the previous models. And it's one of the things that we are now working for the third generation models with these guys to make it. But it's not yet available because third generation is just done. But we're on the way to finalizing that one. Well, finalizing the agreement and then to actually do the diligence. Then one of the things that we are now like preparing to support is classified environment support with no wireless connections on the headset. It's one of the things that you need to contact our sales teams to discuss the details, but it's one of the things that will be available as an option when purchasing our headsets. It does come with the caveat that if you don't get the wireless connections, then you don't get any controllers because they rely on wireless connectivity. So that's the downside of it.
Does this technology integrate with projection systems in traditional military training simulators?
You might be able to do it, but I do think that that the quality will be inferior than doing it with, for example, with the chroma key system. So I don't personally know any existing case where this would have been done. But if you mean like the software behind them, then it's quite often that the software can be expanded to support in the virtual reality and mixed reality environments. Like for example, VBS Blue from BI Sims works beautifully with our headsets, and it's integrated for both VR use and the mixed reality use. We did a great training jet exercise with the BI Sims with the T34 trainer jet simulator in a year and a half ago. That was our first mixed reality system that we integrated to, and it's a very similar than a typical projector system. So we basically just replaced the projection dome with the mixed reality headset, again having that physical cockpit that you actually go and sit in. So I do think that it's maybe what you were asking, Daryl. So
I bet a lot of people are going to be taking advantage of that. What about using these new headsets behind a firewall?
Yeah, so
interconnection.
Like we have been very much all about not having any connections needed to the internet in the past, and that's going to be available also in the future. So you can basically purchase the license in a way that it does a daily check from our license servers, or you can purchase it with the mode where it's like a fully offline license so that it never needs to go to the internet for absolutely anything.
Excellent. We have a lot of customers that appreciate that. Any more questions from the audience? I think that means that you did an excellent job filling in the blanks for people.
Oh, thanks, Carl. And thanks, everybody. Really, like a huge thanks for letting me bring up the beautiful things about the third generation to you guys. So much appreciated.
Oh, we can't thank you enough. These are amazing products, just mind-blowing products. Varjo is ahead of your time.
Thank you.
Carl, what are next steps? What should people do that want to learn more? And, you know, as we talk about the road show that's going to take place at the end of January or early February, we've already been in communication with Barrio about partnering with them on that. So how do we, you know, get people more information, next steps, learn more, demo with us, all that good stuff?
You guys stop at our booth, scan your card, talk to Tony, talk to anyone in our booth, stop by and see Varjo, talk to them. We're trying to serve as many people as we can. We've got demo units that we're shipping around because we can't travel because of COVID right now. Varjo's doing the same thing. The road shows, if you're near us, you can collaborate with us on one of the road shows in Detroit, but also in the other locations around the country that Urho was mentioning. You can send an email to tony@rave.com and make it that simple.
Awesome. Perfect.
Still want to give people a chance to ask more questions if anything is simmering.
Urho, I have a question for you with the new subscription model. What happens for users past year one? So it's mandatory support for year one, and then what happens if you renew or don't renew at the end of the year?
Well, at the moment, the device will stop working. And then you can renew it on a monthly basis after that one. And I do think that you can also have pauses after the first year. So that may be the case that you don't use it for half a year. So why pay the price for that duration? It's one of the things that we're going to be like finalizing now in the next upcoming months. The reality is that it will not be an issue until a year from now. So by that time, we'll have a great answer for the question.
You know, one of the things that people might wonder, what if you've already bought an XR1 and now you're looking at an XR3 going, whoa, wait a minute, that's so much more for so much less money. I want to be on an XR3. What do I do?
Contact RAVE, contact our sales team and have a dialogue.
Excellent. Okay.
Carl. I think we've gotten through all the questions and everybody knows how to get in touch with the RAVE team if there's any additional questions. So Urho, thank you so much for being here with us today. Very exciting. We're happy to be partnered with Varjo.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a great day, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks.